You install a game with the goal of entertainment. Inside is another dimension. A dimension of strange events. A dimension of intense action. A dimension of only 3 colors. You're moving to a game of both intrigue and confusion, of empty halls and disturbing characters. You just crossed over into Control.
Welcome back to No Time Gamer, a channel dedicated to reviews and content for the busy adult gamer. If you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. What if I said you were about to get the top job at a government agency with little to no qualifications? Sound overwhelming? Welcome to Control, a sci-fi supernatural adventure where players take control, pun intended, of Jessie as she enters the oldest house during an invasion by a paranormal force called the Hiss. Not only has Jessie managed to get her way into the Federal Bureau of Control during a lockdown, but she's quickly awarded the director's position by a telecommunicating upside-down pyramid known as the Board of Directors, and not one person in the FBC questions this. With the director's service weapon in hand, Jessie must navigate the maze-like halls, corridors, and underdwellings of the FBC, searching for answers to a past mystery while trying to save the Bureau and its people. Personally, I think it's a lot to ask of an unqualified new hire, but I guess someone needs to fix this mess. Beyond the story, which purposely lacks sufficient details, the game is a beautifully designed third-person action-adventure. Control started off with a few buttons to remember and ramped up as the game progressed. The early missions didn't come off as tutorials, so I never felt like the beginning chapters were wasting my time. They kept it simple, yet exciting. I was still completely lost in the game's narrative, but the gameplay kept me engaged as I learned more skills and naturally folded them into the sci-fi tools I'd already mastered. And I needed those tools, because Jessie is quite vulnerable if they are not properly utilized against the Hiss. Control has no difficulty setting, and new enemies were introduced throughout the game. It was up to me to figure out how to handle them, and this resulted in a few unwanted deaths. Happily, Control was not too punishing with my mistakes. Besides waiting through a long load time, the game revived me at my last save control point. I'd have to make my way back to where I was, so there was a little bit of unnecessary retread, but all the collectibles I found in recently cleared areas remained enemy-free. Mostly. As the game progressed, I found enemies had come back to cleared areas, but not always. It was quite random. After completing missions, Jessie would have to frequently return to Central Executive on the main floor of the Bureau. Since the FBC is a huge maze of similarly colored hallways, doors, and floors, the idea of serious backtracking sounded annoying. Luckily, I used capture control points to fast travel around the building. The main issue I had with the FBC layout was figuring out where to go to reach an objective. A yellow marker showed me, in general, where to go on the map, but not which floor level, which path would get me there. I got completely crossed up on a few missions and kept heading to the wrong part of the building. While getting lost, I ended up in some frustrating firefights and died a bunch of times. After a little backtracking and paying close attention to the in-game signage, which I forgot, the game told me to do, I found the right path and was on my way. This did waste a few nights of my gaming time, but regarding overall enjoyment, not a huge problem. Not much could derail this oddly amazing sci-fi romp through the fully fleshed out setting of the oldest house. My head hurt trying to wrap my brain around the Hiss, the board of directors, the characters, and a plethora of hidden secrets throughout the game. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. I love the deep lore and the weirdly blasé actions of the NPCs who were under duress the entire game. The action was intense but never too overwhelming, so I always felt like I was, well, in control. It's a game that respects its audience, who is most likely adults, and I was drawn back into playing it as often as I could. If you happen to be the director of a few little Hiss-infected agents at home, you'll have to play Control during their eyelid lockdowns. It's not a particularly scary title, but intense gameplay and sound design will be a bit much for young children. Older kids who are allowed access to mature content like this game will enjoy it, but the story is going to be way over their heads, and it'll be damn near impossible to explain any of it to them. Essentially, wait until everyone else is in bed, and then let this game fill your brain with action and confusion before hitting the sack yourself. Enjoy those messed up dreams. Control is a paranormal hallucination intertwined with a strong action game. The oldest house and the mysteries buried around nearly every corner will keep you both engaged and thoroughly perplexed. The setting of and the characters within the Federal Bureau of Control are also unremarkable yet vastly intriguing at the same time. The whole damn game is like a walking contradiction, and that's really what makes it so good. So for busy gamers, Control is time mostly well spent. Let us know in the comments if Control is your kind of sci-fi game. If you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Also, please consider supporting us on Patreon by clicking on the link in the description.